Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I made a video. Sorry about that. I just got a new job recently and I've just been super busy between that and stuff with the kids and the family and just been slammed. But wanted to make a video today. A couple different things. One, I wanted to thank Mike from Scoos Collectibles and Victor, the rookie card specialist. I won Mike's VR. So I got a copy of Victor's book, True Rookie Cards. Good book. Got it the other day in the mail. Read it. Really liked it. I think he's spot on. But in addition, kind of got a bonus gift. Victor sent me a True Rookie card. Aaron Judge. This is the Topps Finest from 2017. It's in a PSA 10. So thank you, Victor, for that. Thank you, Mike, for the book. Really appreciate it. Congratulations. Awesome VR. So super appreciative of that. Thank you guys. I really do appreciate both of the gifts. The next thing I wanted to do was give some shout outs to some smaller channels or channels I feel like don't have enough subscribers based on how good the channels are. So the first one is a new channel that I've seen a couple of his videos. It's West 238th, otherwise known as Goodman. I saw his first video, or at least the first video I saw of his was when he did a VR for Pepino Man. He has a really cool collection. Really enjoy the cards that he shows. A very diverse collection, primarily of vintage stuff. And I do like the approach he takes to making videos. I think his videos are very entertaining and you see some pretty fire cards. So you guys should check him out. He's got 25 subscribers. So let's try to get him to 100. I mean, it's crazy at 25. He has such a cool collection. Next up is RipFan8, my buddy Steven with the PH. He was on Greg's channel recently, but Steven's a great guy. I met him at Strongsville this year. I spent time with him at the National this year. Super great guy. He's doing a Jackie Robinson run, and he's picking up some absolutely amazing cards. He's got the 48 and 49 Leaf. He's got some Bond Breads. He's picking up everything. His goal card is the 52 Topps. I think that's one he's chasing currently, but he's got amazing cards. Super nice guy. And I believe he's got like 235-ish subs. So let's try to get him to 250, guys. And then the third channel I wanted to shout out is my buddy Matt from The Card Story. Matt is an awesome member of the community. Super nice guy. He's got an amazing collection of Hank Aaron stuff. He does a lot of videos with his son Tyrus, which I think is really cool. Great channel, great guy. He's got 290-ish subs right now. He's been doing this for a while. I think that that's criminal. He should be at least at 500. So check out his channel, subscribe to his channel. Let's at least get him over 300 for now. All right, so the third thing I wanted to do on the video is a Q&A. So I've had a few questions asked of me over the last month or so and wanted to answer them. So the first one comes from Andrew Deutsch, who is the super commenter. We know him as ACD 1994. So Andrew, I apologize it took me so long to do a video with your question. So I'm going to read that question to make sure I get it right. It's a multi-part question, but it all kind of gets around the same point. He asks, I was wondering, once you're retired and you have more time on your hands, do you plan on doing anything different from your card collecting than you do now? For example, either setting up as a card dealer at your local Denver show or starting new lists, building on some sets you might have interest in, whether it's pre-war, vintage, or modern, or possibly even dive further into non-sports or other collectibles. Great question. I don't know yet. I've got about 15, 20 years to go until that happens. I know I look much older than I am, but I would say kind of my answer is it depends on my net worth when I retire. And that's kind of a stupid answer, but since when I'm retired, I'll be on a fixed income. I'm going to collect cards based on my budget. So if, I continue to, put money away for retirement and the investments I make do well, then yes, I'm hoping to continue to add to the collection once I retire. That being said, a friend of mine, Dave, who I met at the National this year, super nice guy, amazing collection. he actually, when he retired, he took a different approach, and I like his approach. What he did was he sold a bunch of cards that he wasn't passionate about, including a couple monster cards. He took the proceeds from that, plus obviously some, additional cash as needed. And what he's doing is he's buying no more than 20, 25 of his favorite cards of all time in like really high grades, like not buying them because of the grade, right? He's buying them because they just look amazing, right? Like perfectly centered 52 Topps cards, perfectly centered 1915 Cracker Jack cards. So I like that approach. I think that, when I retire, depending upon, space, having a little bit smaller collection, but having the collection be a little bit higher quality, I think is an approach that I would like to take. I probably wouldn't set up as a car dealer. So next piece of that question, by the time I retire, I'll probably have about 40 plus years in sales. And once I retire, I really don't want to sell anything to anyone anymore. If I do anything, for cash, it would be something that absolutely isn't selling. I love sales. I've been doing it for a long time, and I still have many years left of doing it. But I think when I retire, I'll put a pen in it. Probably won't be selling anymore, so I probably won't do a table at a show. I probably wouldn't do set building. I'm not a big set builder. I truly like to focus on buying cards that I love, and I feel like when I do a player run or a set build, I'm buying cards that I really don't care about in some cases just to complete it, and I'd rather spend the money on cards that I truly enjoy. I think ideally I would continue to collect vintage baseball cards, maybe some cards from some other sports, but probably not non-sports. And I would focus on, in my opinion, the cards that are iconic. That's the way I would like to continue, kind of like what I'm doing now, but continue it for the next, however many years I'm around, right? So now and when I'm retired, like I said, assuming that I've got the cash to do it upon retirement. With regards to other things other than sports cards, you mentioned non-sports or other collectibles. I do like to collect Americana. I have some pieces in the collection, not a ton. I think that I would continue picking some pieces up like that as well, just because I really enjoy, buying pieces of history of the country. So hope that answers your question, Andrew. And again, I am sorry that it took me so long to get back to you on that. My next question was actually from a buddy of mine. He asked, now that Pete Rose has passed away, rest in peace, do you think Pete will get in the Hall of Fame posthumously? So my answer is yes, I hope so. He's the all-time hit leader, right? So I think that warrants induction in the Hall of Fame all on its own, right? So did he bet on baseball? Sure. But really, honestly, who cares? And the reason I say that is, Major League Baseball has a contract with FanDuel. They're the official gambling partner of baseball. So if baseball is going to profit from gambling, it to me is it's not meshing that because he gambled he can't get in the Hall of Fame. Gambling doesn't improve his ability to play, right? He didn't take a performance enhancing drug that made him a better player. He played the way he played. He was an amazing player, and he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame for that. They punished him because he gambled. Again, even though they have a gambling partner, which I think is kind of bullshit. But I think that, it's absurd now that he's passed away. I don't know. I think he's paid his dues, right? Like this kind of reminds me of when cigarette companies donate money to do PR campaigns for anti-smoking. It's all BS. It's really just for show, and it doesn't really impact anything. They're just doing it. And I think that's kind of what baseball is doing with Pete Rose in his lifetime ban now that he's dead. So we'll see what happens with the Hall of Fame, right? A lifetime ban, in my eyes, ends when your life ends. But again, Shoeless Joe Jackson is in a similar scenario. He's been dead for a long time, and he still is basically banned from all that stuff. So I don't know. Again, gambling doesn't help him get more hits, right? All-time hit leader, 4,256 hits, but he's also second all-time in doubles. He's like fifth or sixth all-time in runs scored. He has over 200 hits, I believe 10 I think 10 seasons. He has over 200 hits. Um, he's led the league in hits, I think 7 times. He batted over 300, you know, tons of times. I think he led the league in batting average 3 times. He was rookie of the year. He won an MVP. I just think in general that he was an amazing player. He busted his ass every time he played. He made the game better as a player, and he has all kind of records. You could argue that he played way past his prime to get some of them, but it's like, to me, longevity matters, right? Like my favorite modern player is Nolan Ryan. He played 27 seasons. So to me, longevity, if you could do this to the level that these guys do it for that long, to me, that's super impressive. Like they're my age and they're still playing, right? So I couldn't even imagine if I had to run, from home to first, I'd probably pull a muscle. So to me, I think he was an amazing player and they should absolutely let him in. I think, he's paid his dues to baseball, right? He won't ever be able, now that he's dead, he'll never know, obviously, that he got in the Hall of Fame. He'll never be able to appreciate it. But I think that the Hall of Fame deserves to have Pete Rose in it, right? It's not Pete Rose deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I think the Hall of Fame deserves to have Pete Rose as a member of the Hall of Fame. The net of it is, Pete would be in the Hall of Fame right now if he had an interpreter to use as a fall guy, right? So he should be in the Hall of Fame. And then the last question, it's kind of funny because my buddy Greg did a Q&A the other day, and he had this question was asked of him, but I've had multiple people ask me this question, at least to get my opinion on it, and I figured I would do a Q&A question with, my opinion, right? So question is it fair that dealers get to buy cards from other dealers at shows prior to the show opening? So they get preferential purchasing treatment. Yes. I think it's absolutely fair. So we have to look at it. I don't know if we all look at it the right way. So here's how I look at it. I'm not saying my way of looking at it's right or wrong, but in my opinion, this is the right way to look at it. So, let me know. We buy for fun, right? We buy for collecting, right? But the dealers, they sell for a living, right? So saying that it's unfair for them to take advantage of a situation where they buy before the show opens so that they get better prices, so that when they sell, they make a little bit better margin, is like saying that we would be willing to do something differently at work that pays us less money, but would come across as fair. So I think that's a little BS because we wouldn't do that. So why would we expect car dealers to do it? This is their job, right? So like Greg mentioned in his Q&A, these guys pay a premium to get a table, right? They pay a lot of money to get a table. They're able to get there early, obviously, to set up. They have to go through the headache of shipping all their stuff there. They have to, the costs of travel. It's got to wear on them doing this weekend after weekend, but this is their job, right? So I think, yes, they deserve to be able to trade and buy and sell when they get to the show, even if everybody else isn't there, right? Because at the end of the day, if they don't get cards at a discount to, the fair sale, the fair value, then they're not going to make any money, right? Because they're not going to be able to buy a card for fair value and then say, I'm going to sell it for more than fair value because nobody will buy it, right? So they have to get the cards at a discount so they can sell it at fair value and make a profit. And remember, if they don't make money, they stop doing it. If there's nobody else selling cards, who are we going to buy from, right? So it's a business. I think the way that they handle this piece of it, I think I have no issue with it, right? So I think I have no issue with it whatsoever. I think that's part of them doing business the way that they need to do business to stay in business, right? The second part of that question is, what about the people that aren't dealers that get access to shows early, right? There's YouTubers that get access to shows early. There's friends of dealers who get their dealer passes and get there early and they can buy. Do I have an issue with that? No. So I think from that perspective, it's really it's who you know, not what you know, right? So good for them. They know people that got them in early and they're able to take advantage of that, right? I think we've all worked with people where we say, this guy in leadership or senior leadership, he's an idiot or she's an idiot. How did they get their job? How did they get this job? I'm better at this than them. I'm sure we've all seen that before. Even if we don't say we're better at it than them, you at least say they seem to suck at their job. How are they at such a senior level? Well, they probably leveraged their network and had people do them favors. So again, it's who you know. So this kind of thing happens everywhere. In my opinion, this is capitalism, right? It's, hey, they're in it for the dealers are in it to make money. The people that are, getting access, they're leveraging relationships to be able to buy stuff at a better price or kind of get the cream of the crop, right? And from my perspective, that's just part of capitalism. And my take on capitalism is this. We live in a capitalistic country. I think we all love that. We all benefit from that. But we have to remember that capitalism works all the time. It doesn't just work when it benefits us. So I think getting into shows early, if you are able to do it, great. If you're a dealer, absolutely, because that's how you do business. And I think sometimes when I hear people complain about getting it, that other people got to do it, but they don't, it sometimes comes across as a little bit more like a jealous thing. Like, oh, I wish I could have done that, right? It's not, hey, I don't want to get in early, and I don't think anyone else should get in early. I think a lot of times it's like, hey, that's not fair. And it's not my place to judge whether it's fair or not. It is what it is, but it's it's done for a reason. And I think for the most part, it's dealers doing it, and they absolutely deserve to do that because that's their business, right? All right, guys. Well, hope you enjoyed the video. And if you are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. If you are subscribed, thank you for your subscription. Subscribe to the other channels that I shouted out. Got their links below. I will talk to you guys later.